I mean, somebody thought it'll catch more eyeballs if you have even sex in horror. I don't know. I mean, it did what it did for them. Good.
Again, tell us who and
I
who's the
can't.
producer?
This is why. This is why I saw. I said no to one, and it became a very big hit.
They said that you start the film with a honeymoon. You have a song sequence. You let them have sex, and then we can. Then the baby will be born, then the girl will be pregnant, and then you can start your horror film.
Now I look at 8 p.m. when my daughter's not gone to bed. And I'm like, what do I do? How do I make this child sleep? It's a risk. I haven't worked for some time, so do I want to, be seen in this form? What if it doesn't work out? And once you become a parent, I think you don't get a proper night's sleep ever again. We don't want to overprotect, we don't want to overparent also, but we don't want to not be there. We don't want, those awful things that happen, for God forbid, to ever happen to your child. Often there is a reason why you become evil. As they say, nobody's born evil. Although Nushrratt knows a few people who are born evil. That's true. I know.
Hello everyone, welcome to News 18. I am Titas Chowdhury in conversation with team Chhorii 2. Hello everyone.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Very good. Trailers out today. Very, very good.
No, the trailer is really good. I love the visuals, the colors, though dark tones, but really, really nice. I wish we could really watch it on the big screen.
I looked at you can watch the trailer on the big screen.
The trailers out on the big screen,
Trailers out on
but
IMAX.
it is a personally scary experience when you watch it on your personal device or in your living room, and you're going to enjoy it more than you would enjoy it in theatre. So give it a shot.
Absolutely, absolutely. To start with, I'm sure, a lot of conversations have happened on this. It's so rare to see a horror film which is just horror, It's not mixed up with, let's say, comedy, which we see today. Not to disregard them at all. Or, back in the day, we used to see this sleazy horror films. Why do you think there's a dearth of, these like pure horror films? Because see, I am sure we as a nation, we love watching it. Every time there's a Conjuring releasing on the big screen, the theaters are running house full. What do you think is the missing link?
Yeah, we have not yet explored Indian stories in this genre as much as we should as a collective, right? I think it's high time now, because globally horror is really picking up. And every year they make, hundreds of movies, and every other movie works. The beauty of it is that you can tell interesting stories in a very compact budget also, but with great writing and great execution, of course, right? So I think we have not done that. It's been, we are probably delayed in that, and now I think we should really pick up, because this country does have a very varied diaspora and a huge amount of stories to tell in this genre.
Yeah.
So I think there is a little gap, and I think now it is high time that we pick up.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to add something? This reservation, perhaps, in when it comes to making a full-blown horror film.
Horror comedies are comedies.
Yeah.
They are meant to stimulate humor, and therefore the trend of calling them horror comedies is really self-labeled. I don't think the fans or the movie watchers look at them as scary films. They look at them as comedies with a certain amount of jump scares thrown in, or some unique characters. Horror is pure scary horror. I love watching comedies that have come out that have these elements that potentially could be scary, and nothing against them. But horror as a genre works best and in a sustained manner when it scares, when it is purely scary, built on anticipation, on fear, or fear of the unknown. It's also a little lack of imagination. It's a little lack of conviction. There is a large dedicated segment of moviegoers, movie watchers, both for streaming and theatres, that want to consume scary content, pure horror.
Sure.
In India, we are a large market for that. As you rightly called out, when global horror films come to India, even in their dubbed language, in Hindi and in South Indian languages dubbed, there's a big market that goes to theatres to consume them. It's a matter of investing in the right stories. It's a matter on making them with conviction and taking them out in the right manner. There's huge untapped potential in this genre.
Do you want to add anything? The women?
He's right actually. When as a consumer or as an audience, if there is an English horror film that comes out, I'm the first one to book a ticket and go.
Yeah.
Even if I don't see a trailer, I don't know what the film is about, but I want to go see it.
With your shawl.
With my shawl, that's true. But I don't know what it is in terms of perception about an international horror film and an Indian horror film.
Yeah.
And maybe, I think it's more to what Vishal sir has also said recently. He said because we've not made good horror films. We've not raised the bar. I, growing up, have seen great horror films. Like Raat for me, Revati's Raat was unreal. I couldn't get it out of my head. Booth, even 100 Days.
100 Days
like
is
Soha
off.
said. So those films at that time really left an impact on you and you wanted to like go and consume it. But I don't know, over the years, we just lost, I don't know, our art and craft to make it.
Yeah.
Or we didn't up it. Or we just ourselves, like he said, we've inflicted ourselves by going lower. खुद से ही हम नीचे चले गए, पता नहीं क्यों.
It became a template actually.
Yeah.
We got caught in a certain template of it being a masala film with a bit of horror thrown in it.
Yeah.
And everybody thought that only that will work and the other horror will not work.
Exactly. There was this perception that horror will have a lot of sleaze in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because that time there was this whole other section that started which was called horrex.
Horrex,
Which
right.
is horror and sex.
Yeah.
Which also I don't understand how these words get coined, but I mean somebody thought it'll catch more eyeballs if you have even sex in horror. I don't know. I mean it did what it did for them, good. But I guess that's where horror,
in those times the
watching
exposure
people,
to sleaze content was less and horror became a very male audience offering, right? So what happens, they started putting that in because the male audience was coming in primarily and they wanted to attract more and more male audiences, and then it became a template.
Right.
But now that digitally we are getting to see everything else that we want to see on the internet, now we have to go back to horror, right? There's no need to put other things in it. So I think now it's time to reinvent.
So do you recall ever reading a horrex script that came to you?
I said no to one.
Really?
Should I not say that out loud?
No, why you can? Tell us who and who's
I
the
can't.
producer?
This is why I saw. I said no to one and it became a very big hit. I mean,
Oh, I have to tell you, when I set out to make Lapa Chhapi, which is the original film, okay.
Oh,
I couldn't hear it. Okay, anyway. Yes, sorry.
he did over there.
I can't put it anyway. Sorry, sir. When you set out to make Lapa Chhapi.
Okay, thank you.
No.
I was told to make it a horrex.
Really?
So they said that you start the film with a honeymoon, you have a song sequence, you let them have sex, and then we can. Then the baby will be born, then the girl will be pregnant, and then you can start your horror film.
God, really? That's
Yeah,
what they
I'm
would
not kidding.
God.
When Lapa Chhapi was meant to become a Hindi film, a lot of producers told me to do that, right? The Hindi film producers, I'm saying.
God bless you and God bless you.
Thank God.
Thank God. There's no way I would be there.
Yeah.
So
Same.
did you
No
read
way I'd
the
be there.
script?
No, I've never been offered a horrex, and usually, when I've never been offered something, I want to do it. But this is not one of those cases. I'm just very happy that Chhorii 2 is a pure, very, very sinister horror, which has, and it's not one of those jump scare kind of horrors. It's beautiful. It creates a world that is claustrophobic, that is dark, that is wonderfully candlelit with these really sinister characters, and one of them being me, and it really, I think, makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You watch it because it's horror and it's as if it's happening in a world that you do not belong to, which is the beauty of it, because actually when you think about it, it is very much the world that we all belong to.
Yeah.
And these evils are happening on a day-to-day basis, even though they may not be in our face anymore, they still occur. But it brings that to light, I think, in a wonderful way.
Right.
And I think that you guys have done a great job.
But so this is such a stark departure, for you. I mean, you look, I don't know what to say, sinister. That's the right way to put it.
In the film.
This is how I look at 8 p.m. when my daughter's not gone to bed. And I'm like, what do I do? How do I make this child sleep? So this is generally me at 8 p.m. on most days.
No, but was it an instant yes, or did you sort of take some time, think about it, mull over it?
Vikram sir, who I've worked with in the past and who I've trust in. I think that he understands me, he understands the kind of content that I might flourish in and that I might be attracted to. Having seen Chhorii and therefore having understood a little bit of Vishal sir's vision and how he does storytelling.
Right.
Having seen how Nushrratt got opportunities in Chhorii to really perform and make an impact. All of those things were in my mind when they came to me with Chhorii 2. And I imagined, as they told me the story, I imagined how Dasima would look. And for me, as I've said many times, to be presented like this was something where my heart immediately said yes.
Yeah.
But of course, your heart doesn't make the decision entirely. Other things also have to come into play.
The brain.
And yeah, the brain kind of goes, I don't know.
Right.
It's a risk. I haven't worked for some time. So do I want to, be seen in this form? What if it doesn't work out? And, VFX especially, will they be able to do it up to standard, up to mark? And the same, like horror films, will they be tacky or not? And those were my concerns. But then I said, this is an opportunity that I don't want to have to see this film and then, say, oh, I wish I had done that. And somebody else got an opportunity to play Dasima.
Right.
I've never had an opportunity to do a character like this in the past. And I didn't want to let that opportunity go.
Right.
So her name was suggested by Vikram sir.
Okay.
And I instantly laughed at it because I said this is a great name to have. And I think with us, we have had a history of casting people against the grain, It started with Nushrratt in the
me
first
also.
one, right?
Absolutely.
So, and then this one, and then we have other characters also who are, who have been cast against the grain. So I think we really enjoy doing that.
But Nushrratt, coming to you, I want to understand what did, because you won so much of love for Chhorii, what did the film do to your career? Do you think, for the lack of a better word, producers felt like you're more dependable now as an actor?
I guess so. I mean, I think a large part of the trade still works very conventionally. The thoughts are still kind of the same. The language is pretty much the same. I still hear people when they meet me tell me, oh, you carried the whole film on your shoulders. And I have an actual visual of me carrying something on my shoulders. And I'm like, I don't understand what that means. But okay, if that's your language of communication, I understood what you're saying. I mean, we're human beings, we have to talk, right? I get it. So I get it, but also I feel like it's evolving, it's changing. There are more prolific producers, directors, writers, and I feel like they are visionaries because they are moving away from this language. In conversation also, amongst themselves and others, I think the fact that somebody says, oh, we've not seen Nushrratt do this before, let's cast her, is a great place to start. It's not, oh, she carried her film on, she's dependable. No. Because honestly, I'm an actor. All I do is come on set, act, go home.
Yeah.
I don't know how to produce a film. I don't know how to direct it. I don't know how to write it. And God, I don't know how to sell it. How do I get people to come to a theatre?
Yeah.
I can only show them this is what I'm doing. If you find it interesting, come watch it. But I don't know how to sell it. That's not my job. So what are you depending on me for? Apart from me coming on set and doing my job. That's practically where it ends for me there.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's changing. I think it's
Right.
changing. People are casting differently. People are casting out of the box. And there are few films now which I've seen which I would never say this pairing as an actor or a female or a male actor. And I'd be like, oh, this is so interesting. And I go out and propagate that and say, why don't we think like that? Why aren't we going for something like that? This is so refreshing to watch. But it'll take time.
Yeah.
It'll take time.
But we are on the right road.
We're definitely
right?
on the right road.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be an actor in this time and this age of wherever we are headed. There's a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely. When I watched the first film, which was Chhorii, the themes were so relevant and important, I think, because, apart from the horror that we are talking about, it was about also patriarchal horrors, right? About female infanticide, the protagonist was, such a feminist. I just want to understand you being a man, because, we always talk about how women should tell women's stories. You're a man. What did your male gaze that you brought to the table do to this story?
So I have also been raised in you can say, house where the mother was, you can say, a more dominant person in the house. So I can say it was a household of equals, right? So from very early childhood, I have always been angry at why women are treated a certain way, why they are being made a joke of in society sometimes, but I also feel helpless because I'm just one person in a mob, right? So how am I to fight against a mob, right? So that rage has somewhere translated into this film and this subject, starting with Lapachapi, where I thought that there could be a ray of hope with the new emerging technologies, with the world changing, all of that. But now I feel that maybe we only need to step up, because otherwise there's no hope coming. So this is that film. It is a film of rage, because as a man, even I am angry when things happen in society which are done by other men, right? Sometimes women also, right? But it is my own rage and my own angst against that. And I really feel that I want to go and kill that person myself, I really feel that, but I can't do it. So then the other best way to do it is to tell a story about it, right? So we are not here to preach anything. I'm here to tell a story in the genre of horror, because horror lends itself very organically to this, because I believe horror as a genre has a long lasting impact, right? So the way I tell the story is I invite the audience to come watch a horror film, and by the end of it you will probably get affected or probably feel something for what we have to offer.
Right.
So this is a second installment doing that. So that's what I would say.
In the first film, there's a scene where your character is pregnant and there's a knife that she's holding, implying that whatever. But what does it do to you as a woman when you're playing out a scene like that?
There are certain shots in Chhorii 1 that I think we did edit out. We didn't really...
Because they were too gruesome?
Too much.
Okay.
So, y'all are saved. Not only did we live it, play it, we actually then saw it also while dubbing and screenings. It's really terrifying, actually. It kind of makes... I literally just stop. I stop breathing. I stop looking. It something happens bodily inside to me. I don't know how. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'll tell you an incident. It was Holi. One year I was in college. And I think it's just a physical reaction which I can't put into words for you. I was walking down a road and there was this man walking past me. He didn't look at me. He didn't lean towards me. He didn't touch me. He didn't do anything. He just looked pure evil. And he was walking like this and I was walking like this. I kid you not. I looked at him and I don't know what happened in my body. I have physically gone like this. It was almost like somebody pulled me like this. It was a repulse reaction and I was like, what happened to me? I don't know. I guess maybe I'm that sensitive, or for me it hits me right at the gut. And things like that happen. So I get very affected by it.
Yeah.
And it took me a very long time to get out of Chhorii 1, which people wouldn't understand. I mean, people who are in the film would understand. I wasn't able to meet anyone or talk to anyone. I just needed to reset, rewind and forget the whole film to be able to be Nushrratt again.
Yeah.
So that takes a while.
Right.
Also, I forgot what I was saying.
Happens when we get old.
What I was saying was that, I wanted to say that why the choice of the genre of horror is because as a society we have become numb to these things, right? And the only way to elicit a reaction is by showing certain impactful visuals that guys wake up, what are you doing, right? So we have to really elevate the visual imagery sometimes to just wake the people up, and when we can only hope that at least some people will probably start thinking differently.
But Soha, when there are so many these themes that we are talking about, of course, which are there in Chhorii 2 also, you are a mother. What does it do to you? Are you able to separate these two things?
No, I mean, once you become a parent, I think you don't get a proper night's sleep ever again. You're constantly anxious, you know. There's, is she sleeping too little? Is she sleeping too much? Like, I'm anyway anxiety ridden. And definitely, I think if you are a mother to a girl child, then you have more concerns. And today's world is worrisome. We don't want to overprotect, we don't want to overparent also, but we don't want to not be there. We don't want, those awful things that happen, for it, God forbid, to ever happen to your child. So it's very difficult, I think, to be a parent in today's generation, especially with social media. I've always felt that when it comes to women, it is very perilous to be a woman in India. From when you're conceived to when you're widowed.
Yeah.
You know, you're constantly, if you're born in the wrong part of India, into the wrong family, into the wrong mindset, not all of India is in the 21st century, you know, so it's perilous, you know, so I think that's why it is very important. And that's not why I did this movie, as I've said before. It's not because of the social message of this film, but that's why I think that when you open your eyes, because a lot of us are very protected, you know, my life is definitely very protected, but because I have traveled and I've seen and because of this line of work, managed to travel and interact with so many people from so many different backgrounds, I've done films like this, which have exposed me to a different world, which have actually forced me to walk in someone else's shoes, or in this case, be barefoot, you know, and imagine, you know, what life could be like potentially if you're on this side or that side. Sometimes there's a reason why you become evil as well.
Yeah.
You know, often there's a reason why you become evil. As they say, nobody's born evil. Although Nushrratt knows a few people who are born evil. That's true. I know.
Me and Soha have a list. I think we're going to really push this whole concept of purge.
Yeah.
We should have a day of purge.
Yeah.
Just kill a few people.
Great, but no, thank you so much, and kudos to you for taking a risk like this.
Thank you very much.
You know, God, I mean, this is the time, right, for us to take more and more risks. I mean, recently Anurag Kashyap spoke about it, and kudos to you. You know, hope we keep taking more
Absolutely,
risks.
yeah. I mean, he's the one who's
Yeah.
really seen the potential and given us the complete creative freedom and everything that we needed to just
Thank
make
you very
it.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, thank you.
Thank you.